Before we started this vlog, we wanted to just give a bit of a tribute to the late great Eddie Van Halen. We woke up to very sad news. I remember Mum come into my room, I think she come into all our rooms. Before she went to work, she said, Eddie's died, and it was kind of like, it took a bit to sink in, like, it hit hard because the saddest thing is like, he was one of the greats, and Eddie was still so young, which just sucks, and it sucks that he lost his battle to cancer. Yeah, it just hit us hard because Van Halen were a huge influence on the band, and they were a huge influence just in growing up, like, yeah, listening to Dad cranking Van Halen. Yeah, it's kind of like a childhood memory for us as well as, yeah, musical influence for us, and I know you took it pretty hard.
Yeah, it's hard. Like when Mum told me in the morning, it was like just, my heart dropped, you know, it was like almost as much as like a close relative or something has, you know, has passed almost. It was like, yeah, because like you said, like Van Halen's just like such a nostalgic sort of band, like just growing up as kids hearing it cranked all the time, you know, hearing his riffs cranked and everything, like when Dad would play it back in the day, and Van Halen was him.
Growing up listening to it led to the influence coming into Sisters Doll, and I know our first EP that we recorded, we won this competition to record our first EP, and was saying to the guy, he said, oh, who do you want to sound like, or what do you want the reference to sound like, you know, the overall sound, and we're like, oh, early Van Halen would be awesome.
Yeah, sweet.
He was a huge Van Halen fan himself, so yeah, if you listen to that first EP, obviously it's very raw, and that's where, yeah, we wanted to sound like Van Halen.
And throughout all our music, you know, the influence is always there. The night before he passed,
we're up to like midnight.
Yeah, like, that's a strange thing. We're up till midnight, yeah, recording demos and stuff, and Austin was doing this thing on the guitar.
It was all guitar stuff we were recording, and
we're like, God, that sounds so Van Halen. I remember saying, that sounds so Van Halen, that's so cool, and then
waking up the next morning to the tragic news was just a sad day for everyone and rock in the rock world. I just want to give a shout out to the Van Halen family and the Van Halen band. Their music will live on forever. And obviously when we decided to do this vlog that you're about to see, it's a guitar inspired vlog, so this one's for you, Eddie. We dedicate this vlog to you. Rock on. You know my heart is true. I can't stop loving you. Are you ready to play? Hey guys, just wanted to give you an update regarding our Crash Diet tour. It has been postponed to 2021 May. The dates are as follows: Thursday 6th of May, Melbourne, Max Watts. Friday 7th of May, Sydney, Crowbar. Saturday 8th of May, Brisbane, The Bright Side. And Sunday 9th of May, Adelaide, Enigma Bar. So make sure you get your tickets. We do have a discount code which can be found on our website, so head there, get your discount code, that helps us out the best way. Thank you to Silverback Touring for putting us on this tour. We can't wait to kick some ass. Come down, check it out, rock and roll. Hello Dollhouse vlog viewers, once again, welcome to my guitar collection. Now looking at this picture, you do probably think I'm rich and I've got more money than sense, but let me tell you something. A lot of these guitars I got for great prices, and they haven't been purchased all in 1 year. Literally, this has been my guitar collection for as long as I've been in a band. So I'm gonna dive into my little guitar collection here and tell you some stories behind some of them.
Sorry, I'm here too.
Alright, so first up, this was the first guitar I ever bought, actually. It was the first Gibson guitar. I always loved Gibsons, like growing up being a Kiss fan. I was heavily influenced by Ace Frehley, so Gibson was always my choice. They've just got the name
Gibson.
I saved up a lot for this. Believe it or not, I won a dancing competition, which was a scholarship. And this cost me, I think it was about $2.5, but the guy gave me a deal and I got it for $2,100 back in Perth on Guitar Centre. Not Guitar Centre, Guitar World it was called. So this was the first proper guitar I ever bought, and I modded it out with the Marilyn Monroe sticker because I thought it was cool at the time. And I did a lot of shows with this, a lot of the first Sisters Doll shows. I love the Explorer shape. I haven't cleaned this one since Good Things, as you can tell, because it's still got the Good Things pics on there. I actually forgot that one there, to be honest. All Dolled Up, the album, was recorded fully on this. Nothing but this guitar, because it just sounded good, and the sound we got for All Dolled Up was with this guitar through, not that Marshall, but that Marshall over there. And literally that was the tone for the whole album. I love the Explorer shape, and I loved this guitar. This was the second one I bought, and I got this off eBay, and this was $800 for this guitar. And at the time I just loved the look, the mirror plate. So I modded this guitar out with some LEDs. And I did have a configuration where it used to flash and do all that, but it kept falling apart, so this time I just did it with the straight color and it's with the standard switch so I can flick it myself. I usually use this guitar just for one song in the set, which is Moon and Back, and it's kind of got that spacey look, you know, it's got the mirror and it's just a cool guitar, but they don't make them like this, and it is a collectible. But at the time I was like, yeah, let's put some lights on this, I didn't care. So for all of you at home, I have 23 guitars in total, but there's 21 here at the moment, so I'm gonna go through all of them for you. I'm gonna keep the topic of Explorers. Gibson brought out a Melody Maker range. I like the Melody Makers, I always have, like they're just simple. This was a really small guitar and light, and it actually has a great sound. I've never played this guitar live before, but I'd always wanted to. It was one of them bucket list guitars. But for a bit of trivia, I used to play with this a lot back in WA when we were practicing, and I wrote the All Dolled Up riff and the All Dolled Up solo on this guitar. There's a bit of history for you. I might just bring that out and play it for a gig one day. Probably the most showed gig guitar. This is my Tribal Explorer. Now I got this for a steal. Gibson brought out these, and I wasn't a particular fan of these, to be honest, like the design, but it was sitting in Cosmic Sound in WA for years. And I remember I just got my job. Every pay I'd just save my money away. All my mates would go out, drink and party or whatever, whereas I wasn't really big on that. I just saved my money, and like once a month I'd go up to Perth and I'd buy a guitar, and that's how the guitar collection sort of grew. But this one, I kept looking at it every time we'd go into the shop, and when it was first in there, it was pristine white. $3,500 it was, because it was a limited edition. But I was like, no, I don't love it enough for that money, blah, blah, blah. And then it got close to like Christmas 2 years later or something like that, and it was on sale for like $800. Even then I was like, nah, do I like it that much? But I bought it. This is kind of the history of Sisters Doll. This is kind of the first guitar I started using a lot. Welcome to the Dollhouse was recorded with this. The Kayla whammy bar, so it was cool. Like I'd never really done much whammy bar stuff before, so I played it when we first moved to Melbourne. I used it on the Welcome to the Dollhouse tour up the East Coast. That's where it got all these scratches. This guitar's been around, like 10 marks on here.
That makes it look cool though.
And I was gonna bring it back for Australia's Got Talent, the grand final, but when I pulled it out, I was kind of like, it looks a bit ratty for TV. Now thinking back, I should have used it because it's got character. But the reason this is marked here, that's from my belt and moving it, obviously, and this is from my hands. But this, I used to have a wireless that would stick here, and I used to tape it because it would move all the time. So I would run tape like around the back, and every time I pulled the tape, a bit of paint would come off. So this poor little guitar's been through the ringer, but it still sounds great. And it's rare. It is a rare guitar, these ones, because they only made like 300 worldwide of these Tribal Explorers. The other thing why I bought it too is because I don't think I've ever seen anyone play this. So I was like, I'm gonna be the one to make this guitar famous. This was my most expensive guitar that I bought. This was $2,400. I bought it from Mega Music, and I remember I had to order this one in because I wanted it black, and it originally had pickup covers on it, but I just recently took them off because I like the look of the open pickups. Yeah, this guitar has done a lot of shows as well. Like it's held up a bit better than the Tribal one because it's got the gloss finish, but yeah, if you look up close, there's some marks and scratches on the back. This one sounds great. It's a heavier guitar, so I'll stop playing it because playing this for 2 hours does get quite on your back, and it's a traditional, and they're not making traditionals anymore as far as I know, so it's a great guitar. It's all stock. I've never changed any of my guitars because I like them the way they are. Early days were very glam, very flamboyant, so this one was a must at the time. I bought this from Guitar Center as well. Sorry?
From Guitar World?
Guitar World, what did I say?
Guitar Center.
No, Guitar World in Perth. But this sounds great. It's got the tremolo bar, put Halen on this. It's a premium Ibanez. It's a 25-year anniversary edition. I experimented with this a lot, and I did play a lot of shows with this, and I did use it a lot of times, but for me, being rhythm, I was kind of more a rhythm player as opposed to a lead. I stopped playing this one, but I love the neck on it because it's super thin, and everything on it's pink except the black pick guard, so even the inlays are pink, so it's a very eye-catching guitar. My first ever acoustic guitar. I love this, and the reason I bought this is because of this flower inlay. I think I paid $600 for it. It's a great guitar, I love it. Now this, I've actually been doing some research on this. This is actually a rare Maton because they didn't do many of these. Maton, a great Australian company. This one's been through the ringer too. There's a few scratches as you can see, but this is probably the best sounding acoustic I've heard. I love the sound of this acoustic, and for live, for the studio. Now, we were endorsed for about 1 year to 2 years with Hagstrom, which at the time, I hadn't even heard of Hagstrom. I was a Gibson guy, didn't look past Gibson or anything of them major big brands.
Gibson.
Hagstrom, the more research I did, are a great renowned brand for themselves. This guitar, I did a lot of shows with this. Same thing, I put a Maryland sticker on it. It's a suede Hagstrom. I love the headstock on this one. But at the time, we were sort of like, you know, we're doing the glam thing, like the heavy rock stuff, and the guitars that we got to choose from weren't really the style we were going for, but I love the look of this one. It's a beautiful guitar, it sounds great. It's probably one I will will bring back one day. It is heavy though. It's quite a heavy guitar. Hags John did endorse us for a couple of years. Austin got a bass.
Yeah.
We got these for free, so you can never go wrong with a free guitar. Now, I've got a funny story about this next one. This one I bought from Musicland. And the only reason I bought it is because I love this finish. It was $150 and I thought, I love the look of that, I'm gonna buy it. And I bought it before a show once. I went into their shop. I bought it before the show and I was like, oh, if it sounds like crap, I'll just smash it one day at a gig or something like that just for fun. But literally I plugged it in and I was like, this sounds good. Then it became a guitar I played a lot. Because it was light, it sounded good, and I actually really loved playing this. I could throw it around, put my little sticker on there just to make it my own. This is my most recent purchase, probably the cheapest guitar I've bought. $100, but I bought it purely because I am going to get this painted, because a guitar that isn't here at the moment is that guitar that I designed, kind of like my custom design, and that's a black version with a white cross on it. So with this one, my plan will be to make this a white version with a black cross. It's the same guitar. It's a Epiphone Junior model, which I love the Junior model. They've got a good sound and they're fun to play, they're light. This is a before shot and you see the after shot later on. Austin always asks, he goes, why did you go and buy this Fender guitar? I just love guitars. Guitars for me are sort of like therapy. I just love the look of them. I could buy a guitar every day of the week if I had the money and if I could. Something about guitars just make me feel good, and obviously it's an iconic looking guitar. And this one, I remember I took it to a gig and I plugged it in and I was like, I'm gonna use my new Fender tonight, blah, blah, blah. And obviously being a Fender, you know, they've sort of got that blues thing. You need to tweak the sound a little bit more to get that rock sort of sound that we were going for at the time. And obviously it's got the standard pickup. So at the gig, I'm like tweaking, trying to get that sound, and I was like, oh, I can't. So I never really got to play this live much, but I think it'll be something we use in the studios. And there's a funny story behind this one. I've always loved this guitar. I used to see it in music shops, and it kind of just always stuck with me. I love the look and obviously the style of the band we're going for. Great sounding guitars, got EMG pickups. I bought this by accident though. I bought this on eBay from America, and at the time I didn't have an eBay account because I just never did. And Mum and Dad's Visa card was actually linked to the eBay account I logged in on. And I was just looking at it and like, oh, I'm thinking about it. Next minute I clicked this button and it's like, well, your guitar's been purchased. So I got this with that little PV amp over there. They came together. Yeah, I got it for $1,200, the whole thing. I had to pay Mum and Dad back the money. And that was the last guitar I bought for a long time. And when I got it, I was like, stuff, I'm gonna play it. And so you see this on the Strut film clip when I played with Peter Criss, Bruce Kulick tour. So that did a lot of gigs. A friend of Dad's was selling this one. I wasn't kind of particularly wanting it at the time. So I said, oh, I'll buy it, then I'll buy it. And I think it was like $600 or something. Obviously you saw this one. This is my latest purchase, but this is my most expensive guitar to date. Great sound. I can't wait to play it live. And I'm one of these guys, guitars for me are just like plug in play. It's all stock. If it sounds good, it sounds good, and that's it for me. Obviously you can tell we're Kiss fans. We've got some great opportunities playing with Bruce Kulick, Peter Criss, which was like beyond our wildest dreams. Over the years, I have bought some Kiss collectible guitars to start off with. Not a particular fan of the shape of this guitar and the red and the black, but it's a Paul Stanley Silvertone. So these ones are 1997 models, actually, Epiphone Ace Frehley guitars. These were like his signature models. When the band got back together for the reunion, Epiphone did these guitars. Yeah, so we bought a pair of these, which was great. We used them for our Kiss gig. Actually, Austin used one of these for our Kiss gig. They're just great collectible guitars. We don't play them much. Now, our good friend Bruce Kulick, we never thought we'd get the chance to play with him on stage, but we did in 2015 and again in 2017. We bought this guitar because he was doing a clinic. We got this ESP LTD guitar. This is his endorsed company, and we just bought this purely for a showpiece, and he signed it for us. Now, there's a good story about this. This is the Paul Stanley PS10, the model he brought out not long ago, and I recently used it for our Kiss shows. Sounds great. I've always loved this guitar, but obviously I'd never play it live in a Sisters Doll setting because I'm not Paul Stanley. But to do a Kiss inspired show or a night of Kiss covers or whatever, I'll bring this one out because it's just a cool guitar. This was originally $1,200 retail, but I got this for like $700 because some douche in a shop over in WA dropped it, and it's got a mark on the point there, so it was all smacked out. They were struggling to sell it, so I think they had like $900 on it because of that reason. I was like, oh, I'll give you $700 for it. And he was like, oh, he said yes, and I said, yep, cool. And I said, and by the way though, can you send it to Melbourne for me? Because I'm living in Melbourne. And he goes, stuff it, yep, let's do it. Because he goes, I don't think anyone else will buy it. And I was like, sweet. So I got that for $700 delivered. So take me guitar shopping, I could get you a good deal. And last but not least, this is probably my most expensive guitar. I didn't pay the most for it, but I bought this in Guitar Center in 2012. We were touring over there. I actually played this guitar at the Whiskey for like one song. I think I played Holly Dolly on this one. Obviously it's an Ace guitar, it's a Budokan guitar, but it's just modeled off Ace's specs. It's actually a Gibson custom, so it's a beautiful guitar. It's an expensive guitar, I paid next to nothing for it, so it'd be worth a lot more now. But it's actually not his proper one where they aged it and cut all the stuff out. This is actually just the standard stock one, but it's based off that Budokan model and sounds great, just a beautiful guitar. But that's like my prized possession, so I don't get that out too much, but I love that guitar.
Now you got all these mad guitars. What's your favourite?
Oh, you put me on the spot here. There's so many guitars. Like the guitars to me, I love them for purely the look, but some of them have got so many stories to them. Like the white one, for example, like with the Dollhouse film clip and the tours. And if they could tell stories, it'd be awesome. But this one's probably got the most memories to me. Like
that's the first one you grabbed just then.
Yeah. But if you've got any questions about the guitars or you want to know more details about them, please comment below or write to me personally or any of us personally. But these were going to be for our show that was going to happen this year, but unfortunately it's been postponed, so we're a bit bummed about that. So as a part of it, we were going to give these picks to our VIPs. So this was the pink pick. Then we had the blue Are You Ready to Play pick, which was like a new design we come up with. COVID-19. You COVID-19. Rather than save them for our show, we're going to get some new ones done for next year. So we're going to put these up on our website as a purchase and add it to your guitar collection. So as you know, we're supposed to be performing tomorrow night, but due to COVID restrictions, we had to postpone the show to next year. So as a thank you, we have got all the ticket holders that purchased up until this point to send us in their address. We're gonna send them out a little package, which includes a little note, live CD, as well as a Sister's Doll keyring. So if you haven't written to us and haven't got our email, make sure you write to us your email, your address, and proof of tickets, and we'll send out your prize. Thank you, good night. Thank you Dollhouse Vlog viewers for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and all that jazz.
Hey Brendan, did you maybe want to film my guitar collection? I get fucking camera shy. Alright Dollhouse viewers, I'm taking over this camera today and you're going to see what I get up to in a day. Yeah, enjoy. Let's go. I'm sorry, I'm here too.